So this week, Lee and I are going to be just reviewing the seven awakening factors that we've been with these many months together. And we wanted to offer it in a way that isn't just a sort of conceptual or cognitive review, but that invites us each into a reconnection with the embodied aspects of these factors, just feeling into it. So, for this talk, although it is a talk, I really just want to invite everyone, even starting now, just to take some time to set up your practice, establish a posture that feels really comfortable. That might involve some moving, some stretching, whatever feels right for you. And if you're comfortable, you're welcome as I go to just close your eyes and receive the words, notice what happens in your body and mind. And we'll move from this just right into formal meditation, almost experiencing it as one practice together. Yeah. So these seven awakening factors, the Pali word is Bojjhanga. Bo is from Bodhi, wakefulness, liberation. And anga means limbs. So these are the seven limbs of awakening or wakefulness. And the first, sati, mindfulness. This we know is so foundational, right? Mindfulness brings us back to the here and now, back to this moment, so we can see what is here. Mindfulness brings awareness, a kind presence, allows us to connect, recognize, and see, what is happening. And mindfulness also is foundational because it allows us to discern what's needed. Which of the other factors may be skillful in any given moment of practice? More energizing, more calming. So mindfulness, present, awake, aware. And just see for a moment just how mindfulness shows up in the body, breath, and perhaps in the mind, heart. And then from mindfulness, there are three energizing factors. And there's an understanding that many of us need to feel energy for the practice and develop that kind of refreshing, nourishing joy before we can really settle deeply into meditation. And so the first of the energizing factors is Dhammavichaya, investigation. So as mindfulness brings us more into connection to the present moment and what's here, investigation allows us to stay with that, to bring some curiosity and embodied interest. We can begin to notice how things unfold, seeing cause and effect, the nature of our feelings and thoughts, the arising and ceasing of phenomena. We begin to be able to be with that. And Dhammavichaya also brings that ehipassiko invitation. Come and see for yourself, right? The Buddha, don't take my word for it. Watch, see, observe, be with. And so just take a moment and see investigation, Dhammavichaya. How might that feel in the breath and body and in the mind and heart when we have some interest and curiosity in how things are unfolding? And as we become more curious and interested, energy begins to arise for this practice, right? We move into virya, energy. Really helps to dissolve and free up the stuckness or inertia that can sometimes arise in our practice. Virya is wise effort, vigor, allows us to feel more dedication and engagement in the practice. It also brings the capacity to direct our energy more skillfully, brings hope and courage to keep with our practice, even when it's challenging, that determination and resolve. And our energy becomes more harnessed and focused. We're not dissipating it, we're not scattering it. So, virya, this dedication, passion, engagement in our practice. Just take a moment to feel into what's that like when that's there in the breath and body and in the mind heart. And as we feel more energized and engaged, naturally joy can arise in the practice. And this is piti, which is the delight, the uplift in the body and heart, the happiness as we connect more fully and deeply to what is actually here. The easeful happiness for the practice itself, right? The joy of being with, of being able to see clearly, being able to direct our energy skillfully and wisely. This is a happiness that really comes from internal awareness, inner contentment. It's not reliant on external conditions. And that happiness that comes from knowing that we are not causing harm, that we're setting down habits that may keep us stuck or caught in unskillful patterns. This brings relief and joy. So piti, happiness, joy in the practice. You may just notice again how that feels in the breath and body and in the mind and heart. And as we experience these energizing qualities, our system can begin to settle even more deeply into the practice. And the first of the calming awakening factors is passaddhi, calm, tranquility. This is a stillness, mental balance, and poise, right? As we let go and release our habitual agitation and reactivity, the mind is no longer kind of constantly quivering. It begins to really settle. There is kaya passaddhi, calm, tranquility in the body, chitta passaddhi, tranquility of the mind. So we begin to quiet that snow globe glitter that's usually swirling all around, really begins to settle. We see more and more into the nature of things. We're less buffeted around by the vicissitudes. Things can happen and we can absorb, not get so distracted. And so, passaddhi, calm, tranquility, how does that feel in the breath and body? in the mind heart. And as the mind and body calm and settle, samadhi, concentration, stabilizes. We develop that steadiness of mind, capacity to really focus with, to abide in, to stabilize our attention. Samadhi brings that sense of full immersion in the here and now. We feel a gatheredness and a unification of the mind, body, and heart. The image that's often used with this is that unflickering flame of a candle, right? That constancy where the mind heart is composed and aware, and the attention and presence is undisturbed. Passions, preferences, hindrances that can so often disturb and unsettle our systems have really quieted. So again, just checking samadhi, concentration. It's how you notice that in the breath and body and in the mind and heart. And as concentration, samadhi brings that steadiness. Upekkha, equanimity, arises because we can see even more deeply and clearly into the nature of things. We begin more deeply to understand the nature of dukkha, causes of suffering. Equanimity brings that mental balance, equipoise, presence, peace. There's a relationship of neutrality in relation to all that is arising and passing. That spaciousness of being able to hold the joys and sorrows of life with care, without judgment, aversion, or clinging. There is an even-heartedness, even-mindedness. So equanimity, maybe just noticing how that feels when it's present in the breath and body and in the mind and heart. And so we can really feel into the movement, right? Mindfulness at the core, foundational, supporting these three energizing and three calming factors. And so we'll move into the formal meditation practice now, but just see how you're doing. If you're feeling really still and quiet and easeful, you might just let yourself stay here, breathing and sitting. And of course, if you need any movements or shifts to support reestablishing your posture, feel free. And I will offer a quote by Pascal Auclair, the meditation teacher, and then we'll just sit in silence together. So, of the awakening factors, he gives the analogy of rain falling down a mountain. He says, imagine rain falling down on a mountain. The rain falls down, and very naturally, the water will come down and join a little spring. Very naturally, the spring will join a river, and the river will at some point join with the ocean. In the same way, if you bring mindfulness or attention to something, very naturally in time, curiosity will arise and the mind will get intrigued. A mind that is intrigued and curious will get energized. When there's curiosity, it brings vitality, which raises the factor of energy. And then naturally, as the rain falls on the mountain to the river and then to the ocean, a curious, energized mind will become joyful. Enthusiasm will come naturally. A mind that is joyful, that is experiencing contentment, will settle. It's contented with what is here. And very naturally, calm arises. The mind is gathered, it's not looking all over, and it gets very naturally concentrated. And then equanimity very naturally arises. The mind becomes unified, stable, and then balanced. When all these come together, the mind will see more clearly and insight will arise. So let us sit together. Thank you. Thanks for your presence and your practice.